everyone. It's so nice to see so many of you on the call. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. This webinar is all about employee engagement, and for most of you, I think, know me, but just for the benefit of all of you who don't, I'm Lou. I'm a sustainability consultant here at Groundwork. And yeah, it's really lovely to be here with you in a very grey day in Manchester. Don't know what the weather's like near you, but yeah, it's quite grey here. As I said, this is the employee engagement webinar. I have purposely made it so there is a lot of engagement. We're going to be sharing in the chat. We're going to be doing some breakout rooms. We're going to be doing some polls. So I'm hoping that you'll kind of get something out of this session as well as the information that I'm sharing on the slides. But I'll crack on. So what we're going to be looking at today is that we recognise that employee engagement can be a tricky challenge, especially when sustainability is the subject matter and you're trying to engage people. So during this session, I'm going to talk about what engagement is and why it's important. I'm going to look at some ways to engage our employees. Then we'll look at some of the challenges and the barriers that come with engagement, specifically when communicating sustainability updates, initiatives within your business. And I'll also be asking you to share your experiences, because obviously this is a collaborative call. There's people from different businesses. I think sharing experiences will be really beneficial. Then we'll have a look at how to effectively communicate some of the benefits of sustainability champions and also working groups. And finally, we'll talk about why creating a culture of collaboration can help to drive engagement through your business. And then obviously, as always, there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions at the end. So I will crack on. So first, I just want you to let me know how you're all feeling today. If you use the chat box and just drop the emoji in that best reflects your mood this morning. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. I can see the chat, so Nat, you're always the dancing woman. I love that. Gifts are welcome as well. I love a gift. Oh, Charlotte. Oh no. That doesn't look like
it's audit season, so it's like you come back after Christmas knackered and then straight into audit. So yeah.
Oh, bless you. Oh no.
I don't do that.
Okay, we've got some okays. We've got some...
I like yours, Andy.
Oh, Dan, I like that one. Thank you. Oh, we've got some sleepy people, some tired people already. Bless you. That is a January feeling. Diane, love that. Thank
nice,
you.
happy face from Diane.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'll crack on. But thank you for sharing that. Unless anyone's searching for the best gift, I'll very good, Kate. Thank you. Good. I'm glad I've got some happy faces as well as some distressed faces. So we're gonna stay in the chat box now, and I just want you to tell me what makes you feel engaged. Now, this can be in a work setting, or also it could just be generally. So it can be a word, a specific thing, or even a person that makes you feel engaged in your life. So yeah, it can be in a work setting, but also it can be outside of work as well. I just want to get a feel of what everyone thinks on the call about how you feel engaged. I think I already know what Nat's going to put. Yeah, these are great. These are great. Being involved and communicated with, feeling an important part of the business. Yeah, a sense of purpose, giving something back. Yeah, that's lovely. Feeling valued. Yeah, absolutely. Aligned values, included and busy. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, feeling busy. Stories, fun and humour, dancing and the arts. Love that. Having autonomy, yeah, and accountability. Teamwork, completing a task, keeping busy, being included. Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. You've all come up with like very similar kind of, there's a lot of talk about values, aligned values, being involved and communicated, feeling like you're part of something, feeling like you're part of a team. Yeah, being included and good communication. Yeah, absolutely. Feeling appreciated is such a big thing as well, isn't it? Like feeling like you're contributing and feeling like that contribution is being recognised by anyone around you is really nice and makes you feel engaged. Lovely. Thanks so much, guys. That's great. So actually, you've done a lot of my work for me here, but I know that we've covered a lot of this, but I've just pulled out some of the things that, well, one, make me feel engaged, but also they kind of cover the points that we've talked about here. So obviously clear goals and expectations. So you understanding the priorities and kind of what the metrics to success look like, regular check-ins to help you align on them goals as well. Autonomy and ownership, so having control over your own work, your decisions, being trusted to make those decisions. You guys all mentioned involvement as well, so like having that voice and that involvement, so opportunities to contribute ideas, influence decision, feeling heard when given feedback, opportunities to learn new skills, regular constructive feedback that helps you improve, meaningful work, so feeling like you're doing something. I think someone mentioned that purposeful, something that has a purpose or contributes to something bigger, opportunities to use your strengths and your skills to develop new ones. And then, yeah, feeling skilled and feeling seen and having and value for your contributions. That was a big theme in the chat just then. Recognition that is both sincere but also specific to what you've done. Supportive leadership. So obviously this is more in kind of a work setting, but it could be a community group as well. You know, managers or people of senior level who communicate clearly. There was a point about clear communication raised in the chat. Active listening and showing empathy as well, and then also a strong workplace relationship. So you've said being included. Kate, you mentioned teamwork, that sense of belonging and camaraderie, and collaboration and mutual support as well. So all of these things make us feel engaged, and you guys have kind of, you've said all of the things that are on the slide there, so that's great. So there isn't actually one official definition of engagement. In fact, a recent government report found that 50 different definitions of what employee engagement actually is, which is why I think it's so important to ask individuals what engagement means, like I've just done today in the chat, because I think that helps you to understand the needs of each person, and then you can tailor those methods to engage for each kind of want and need. So one definition recommended by the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, a very catchy name, but it's CIPD as an acronym, who are the professional body for human resources and people development. And that states that employee engagement is a state of mind in which, rather than being burnt out, employees show vigour. So they show energy, resilience and effort. They show dedication, so they're enthusiastic, they feel inspired, and they have pride in what they're doing. And absorption, so they're concentrating on what they're doing, they feel engrossed in their work. All of these things have kind of been defined as what employee engagement means, but also what it looks like in the workplace as well. So what are the benefits of employee engagement? So it extends further than the employees themselves, although I do think that that's the main driver. Like, to have engaged employees, I think, is probably one of the key business objectives to have. If you don't have employee engagement, it makes it a real struggle to be a well-functioning business. But there is benefits beyond the employees themselves, and businesses do benefit. So there can be increased productivity from them employees. So if you're engaged, you are productive. Higher staff retention rates, so loyalty leading to high retention rates and skills, staff members staying in one place for longer. Employees are happier, right? So they're satisfied in their job, they're happier, which means they're going to stay for longer, which means they'll be more productive. All of these link into benefits of employee engagement. Improve collaboration and culture. So obviously in the chat again, we mentioned teamwork, being part of a team, being included. all of that kind of stems from being engaged with what you're doing. You reduce absence. So yeah, research has shown that engaged employees have less sick days throughout the year than those who are disengaged. And customer satisfaction. So a positive work environment also leads to customer satisfaction with engaged workforce working towards a common goal. Obviously that benefits the business, but also its clients. So there are just some other benefits as well as being happy yourself as an employee. So that's some benefits of a business. Okay, I've done a poll. I've done a couple of polls. So I'm going to ask you to, let me just get them up for you. So polls, I'm going to do the first one first. So this one is just asking you, in your current workplace, which of these engagement tools are currently being used? So let me launch this poll first. You can select multiple answers for this one. So hopefully that's come up now. Yeah, so select all of the ones that you that apply to you. Okay, we've got different ones coming in, quite high on daily or weekly team meetings, training and workshops at the moment. Less so for town halls. There's a few coming in now. Yeah, we've got some newsletters, some working groups and sustainability champions. Some induction processes and documents, but less so, less town halls, less staff bulletin boards as well. So the one that's coming up the most at the moment at 20% is training and workshops, which is interesting. Okay. So that's great, thank you. So I'm gonna take that one down and I'm just gonna send the next one through. So they're the same list, but I just want you to tell me which of them, the same engagement tools, make you actually feel engaged. So I'll just start this poll now. And again, so we know which ones you've got in your workplace, which of them actually make you feel engaged? Yeah, not getting a lot of love for newsletters. Yeah, we've got, again, training and workshops coming up quite high, which is great. I mean, it aligns with what you guys do already, it looks like, but we've got working groups and sustainability champions at 15%, volunteering and community activities as well. Quite low on induction processes and documents. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? But yeah, absolutely no one's voted for newsletters, which I find really interesting. That's such a good insight. But yeah, so the top one, if everyone's got their votes in, the top one looks like training and workshop makes people feel engaged. So working groups and sustainability champions, and also daily and weekly team meetings as well has come up with the majority vote in there. Volunteering and community activities is quite high as well. Less so town halls, staff bulletin boards, induction process and documents, and then no percent for newsletters. Excellent, thank you. That's really helpful. Okay, we shall move on. So as we've seen from the poll, there are plenty of ways for a business to engage its employees. So we went through them all. Obviously, there's newsletters, training workshops, working groups, incentives, meetings and stand-ups, webinars, volunteering, town halls, induction process, and staff bulletin boards. But are they actually engaging? Well, obviously, from them results from the poll, we can see that newsletters for you guys, probably not the one. But let's talk about how we might be able to make them a little bit more engagement in the future. So before we do that, I'm just going to do a little breakout activity. So I'm actually going to put you in some breakout rooms. And in your groups, I just want you to chat through some of the challenges and some of the barriers that you have faced, or you can foresee you might face when trying to engage further employees within your business with sustainability. So you'll have 5 minutes to discuss it, and then we'll all come back together, and I will ask one member of each group to feed back to the group. I'll copy the question into the chat, or Nat very kindly will, and I'm going to put you in breakout rooms for about 5 minutes. So yeah, it's some of the challenges and barriers that you either have faced or that you can foresee that you might face when coming up against sustainability and communicating that with employees. Cool. So I'm going to split you into breakout rooms now. So room 1 was Ben, Kate, and Andy. Could I ask one of you to just feedback what you guys came up with?
Yeah. Do you want me to go?
Okay.
I don't mind. I'll go if you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, go on then. I'm amazing.
Sure. So we put down a lack of interest from stakeholders because sometimes I feel like it's, it's they're limited based on their knowledge, so they don't know how to get involved. Or some people feel like it's not their responsibility. It's more department driven. So some businesses have a sustainability team, so it's like, it's their job, they have to do it, not us. And then we also discuss like you have to build a business case in some cases, because senior stakeholders just care about the bottom line. Is it going to save money? Or if there's a cost involved, I don't really want to invest in it unless it does save me money. Not that it's ethically or sustainably beneficial to do it, just is it going to save money and time, basically. But yeah, those are the 3 main things that we sort of picked at.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, lovely. So stakeholder engagement, essentially, like how do they want to communicate the sustainability objectives? Is it something that they want to invest in, for example, like the volunteering opportunities that can have some investment behind it? So yeah, that can really affect the communication around sustainability and employee engagement. Lovely, thank you. Thanks for sharing, guys. Room 2 was Darren, John, and Daniel. Who wants to share from that group?
I don't mind doing it. So we had a good mix in our group. So we had one of the things that came out was either the lack of personnel to help push the message, or working around the certain staff base that aren't interested in hearing the message, who are maybe stuck in one way of working and trying to breach that new way to them, how to adapt systems or adapt them to new systems coming in.
Yeah.
And another big point was just understanding the data. It's all well and good collecting the data, but once you've got it, how do you look at that, and how do you actually realize what it's telling you and where to make reductions? So for example, with carbon, we can collect all the data we want on carbon, and we can look at it, but until we understand what it's telling us, it's difficult to know, okay, I'm looking at that and I can see this strategy to make reductions. I was saying we're lucky enough to have a life cycle assessment team with us, which really helps me understand the data that I'm getting from my suppliers, but not everyone has that. So having that professional, or not necessarily professional, but someone that knows what they're talking about, is not a luxury that everyone can afford.
Yeah, both really, really good points. I think that's what we go on to talk about, obviously, that data side of things and how you can make that tangible for people to understand, right? Because obviously you have a specialist in-house, Daniel, who kind of explains it all to you, and then you understand it. But it's how that then gets communicated to other members of staff, and how we can make that information engaging to make people want to engage with it. Because a lot, like I said before, sustainability comes with a lot of complex language. Obviously, a lot of people don't understand the data or where that comes from or why it's relevant. So it's how can we make that a bit more digestible for people across the business so they want to engage with it. Both really good points. Thank you very much for sharing. David, Charlotte, and Diane, that was the final group. Who wants to share from that group?
Are you happy for me to go ahead?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
whichever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We just completely ran out of time. But if I can,
Sorry.
if I can just surmise where I think we were heading is a mismatch between the sort of the leaders or stakeholders of the business and their aspirations to that of the staff. And in the particular examples we shared was that the seniors or the stakeholders were keen to push sustainability, but there was a sense of from staff, can't be bothered, it's not me, why should I type of attitude. So we're not being able to bring the team, the staff members along with the aspirations of the senior team. So that was one thing that we talked about, and money and cash, and the cost of it was the other that's a potential barrier. How much is this going to cost in time, money, etc.
Yeah.
Hope we summarise that right. Is that right? Anything else?
Yeah, you get a thumbs up there, Diane. Yeah, that's great. I think Daniel touched on it as well. Like, a lot of the time people don't like change, right? They don't, if they've been doing that process for a really long time, they don't want to change it. It works for them. They're set in their ways. So yeah, I think that's a really, really good point and a really good barrier in terms of what you might come across. Just people saying, well, I don't want to do that, and why should I do that? It works really well this way. Like, so I think it's all about giving them that context. And again, it's about communication about, well, that we're asking you to do this for a certain reason and this is why, but making that language simple, making them understand the benefits to the business, but also to them if there is any. So yeah, it's all around how we communicate that sustainability strategy for sure. Ben, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, just add on to that. People just get siloed. They just focus on what they need to do rather than the extra bits built around it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not a sustainability champion, right, that people are asking you to care about something that you don't necessarily have to care about. So it's kind of changing that mindset and changing that view and how we can get everyone engaged on the same lines, especially along sustainability, because it can feel like a complex thing when it's boiled down to each department and each kind of action for individuals, it can be a lot simpler. So we'll look at some ways now. I will move on for the presentation, but thank you so much for all of your contributions. It's really, really helpful. And we'll look at some ways of how we might be able to combat some of these challenges and these barriers as well. So yeah, you've covered a lot of, you're basically doing my job for me on this webinar, but you've covered a lot of them, but just to go over kind of the main ones. So poor communication and the use of language. So as I said, it can be challenging to engage with due to technical language, acronyms. It can confuse people. It can make them feel really disconnected from the business's sustainability initiatives. If you don't understand something and something's really wordy or potentially really boring, you're not going to engage with that content. You're just like, oh, that's not for me. I'm out. Like, I don't need to do this as part of my job. So poor communication is a really big part of it. Also, a lack of awareness and understanding. We touched on this as well in our discussion. Many employees don't fully understand the sustainability concept, the science behind them, the business case, why they should do it, how it relates to their role. So that again makes it harder for them to care or take action or basically just engage on a whole. So yeah, unclear objectives as well. So often employees do not have a full sight or understand the wider business objectives. No problem, bye Ben, thanks for joining. And don't understand why they're being asked to engage with sustainability. So unclear objectives from maybe the senior leadership team might be challenging this awareness and this employee engagement. This is something that you all touched upon. So competing priorities, time pressures. People often feel too busy with their day-to-day responsibilities, and sustainability can be seen as an extra work rather than part of their job. So that is a big challenge of engagement. No clear path for participation. So sometimes employees do want to help, but they don't know how to. So we need to make sure that there are clear actions, roles, and pathways for them to be able to contribute. And again, that's communicated in the right way. Information overload. So yeah, communications, we'll talk about this a bit later in the webinar, but communications can often come from various different people or departments, around the same time, and it can feel quite overwhelming. So not knowing what information is the most important and what they're supposed to engage with. And so all of this information coming at once from different sources can just feel really overwhelming for people. So that's another big challenge. So how can we overcome some of these challenges? Let's have a little look. Let me know if you can hear this. This is not really on good.
It's all to help them flourish. Cowangate follow-on milk. Nourish to flourish.
Okay.
Cool. So that is how Playtech is spelt. All right, moving on to the other reason for the meeting. We really need to go over our KPIs for the month and make sure we've got all of our CTAs by EOD.
I've got the triple O for my PTO yet.
I didn't approve your PTO. In fact, that's going to be UPL with a PC.
FFS.
So let's get BOT and finish this REM. Okay. We got to get QA on this OS because the ISP has said this UX isn't up to scratch. We won't be able to perform B2B OPS if the CMS isn't ready.
I'll get on top of that CMS, then check the CPC as well.
What about PPC?
Yeah, I'll check that as well as the ROS and the SEO as well.
Ali, have you got the UV stats for the SWS? We need that ASAP by EOP.
Yeah, all good, Ron. I've got the OTC MOM TBA. Then the CFO has asked me to get on the EDS and EST ASAP.
Cool. Thanks, Ellie. Now, Adam, you've actually got an easy afternoon. I've just got one simple little task for you to get on with. Oh, good. NSOR coming down the PQT this ARVO. I need you to be on the FTG ASAP until this CTG comes through with the ROG. Get the DDA done by the EOP, then you can LWR and take your SEO. Shouldn't be much of a PQY because most of the people have a QW anyway. All good? Yep. So, let's get back to work. WTF? TY.
Okay, so obviously that's just a short, silly video and it's very exaggerated about the use of language, but as we were saying before, it does play a massive part in engagement, and effective communication is really key when talking about sustainability. So obviously you've seen in the video, very exaggerated, but the use of acronyms can be really, really confusing, and sustainability uses a lot of them. I've been doing this job for about two years now, and I came from a different background. I worked in advertising for years before this, and when I joined the sustainability world, I was so confused by all of the acronyms, and I'm still sometimes trying to figure them out. So it can, if you just simplify them and remove the acronyms, write out the full term first so colleagues can follow them along. It really helps with confidence and prevents people from feeling excluded from the conversation. This might seem like an obvious one, but make it fun. I think sustainability doesn't have to be serious all the time. I mean, I'm not telling you to be a comedian, but if you can use humor, like visuals, storytelling, GIFs, emojis, friendly challenges to make your message more memorable. And if employees smile or feel curious, they're far more likely to pay attention and engage with the content. Feeds into what we were talking about before, but use clear, everyday language that everyone can understand, regardless of their role or technical knowledge. Keep messages short, direct, free from jargon, so employees can quickly grasp what the update means to them and why it matters. Break up large amounts of copy. I think we're all guilty of this. We want to get all of the information down, so we're paragraphs and paragraphs of copy, which can be really overwhelming to some people. Also, we need to think about accessibility and people who maybe have dyslexia or special learning needs. Large paragraphs can be really overwhelming and easy to just kind of shut down. So short sentences, headings, bullet points, visuals again, to make information easy to digest. And it just helps busy colleagues. So as we were talking about before in our discussion, people are really busy. It helps busy colleagues quickly find the messages that matter the most. And finally, explain the science. So people engage more when they understand why something matters. So sharing the science bit, again, in a simple, accessible way, what the issue is, what's causing it, how the organisational actions will make a difference, keep the explanations high level and human, obviously not technical. But that's just some of the way that communication can be used effectively in sustainability. So I've got a little activity now. So I want you guys to have a think about this sentence. So I'll read through it and I'm going to ask you to do a different version of it that might be a little bit more engaging. So let me read it out. So we are pleased to confirm that our FY24 SBTI aligned GHG reduction KPI has been met ahead of schedule based on the updated scope 1 to 3 emission data in the latest ESG report and validated through our ISO 14064 compliant framework. So this is a communication that's gone out to all staff. How can we make this a little bit more engaging so people want to understand what it actually all means? So I've got think about what we've talked about before in terms of the effective communication, explain the science, make it fun, use less acronyms, simple and concise, break up large amounts of copy. So have a think about all this. I've got a Padlet that I've sent it in a link yesterday via email, but if you want to just scan it on the screen right now, you absolutely can. Have a go. I'll share the statement again, but it's actually on the Padlet as well if you need it for reference. But have a go of making that paragraph sentence a bit more engaging. If you don't want to rewrite the whole thing, that's absolutely fine. Maybe just make suggestions about what you might change with it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a complete rewrite of it. Just make some suggestions of how you would make it a bit more engaging. So I'll give you about 5 minutes and then we'll have a look through what we've got. Let me know if anyone's struggling with the Padlet. Nat's just dropped a link to the Padlet into the chat as well. Thanks, Nat. So I've just shared the statement again with our kind of cues for how to effective communication, how to make it a little bit more engaging, just so you've got that for reference when you're looking at the activity. Great. So I'm just going to read a few of them out from the Padlet and obviously at the chat as well. So this one's really great from Dan. Productivity up, emissions down. We've hit our greenhouse gas reduction target for this financial year. We're staying on track for a net zero future. That's really nice. And then Andy, many thanks is the subject title. Hi all, thanks everyone for your involvement in achieving our scope 1 to 3 emissions target to help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Great work. Then we've got Bold Kangaroo. Yeah, you were all awesome. We got there. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who helped us attain our GHG reduction way ahead of the planned date. Keep on going, everyone. Really nice. And then I just wanted to highlight some things in the chat from John, which is really great. It's kind of John's outlined what we kind of need to do to that sentence to kind of make it a bit more engaging. So it needs to be written so all can understand. Include an explanation of what the scopes are, explain what the targets were and results. No need to mention ISO as it overcomplicates the message. So yeah, you could simplify it even further. You don't need to really mention ISO because like most people across the business don't really need to know that the ISO framework is being kind of used. Scope 1 to 3 emissions, yeah, if people don't know what they are, it might be that you have a little explanation as to kind of what that all means. The use of ESG as well, like, you know, some people might not know what ESG is, so do you want to explain that at first, tell people what it means? Yeah, so in 2024 we've had a great year, meeting our environmental targets, which has been third-party verified. Thank you for all your efforts and add colour and pictures. Brilliant, Darren, that's great. Thank you, that's really good. Thanks all, I really loved all of them. Really useful to see. I had a little go. Mine was a bit longer in terms of like it was a bit less concise. So great news. Thanks to everyone's effort, we've hit our science-based climate target for this year ahead of schedule by cutting our emissions across the business through improved efficiency measures like installing solar panels, reduced energy use. We're making real progress on our journey to a low carbon future. If you'd like more information to see how our teams are making a difference, a full report is available on the employee intranet. So I've stripped back the technical language, I've removed the acronyms, I've pulled out the information that is relevant to the audience that I was trying. So this was kind of the whole business that this was aimed at. And I want people to take away the key points and give them the opportunity to find out more if they want to. So yeah, if they want to find out more information, they can go on the employee intranet. So yeah, amazing. Thanks for all your input, guys. That's great. So yeah, if we revisit our ways to engage and what you guys found engaging, we can kind of apply all of our effective communication techniques to each one of them, as well as using some other engagement techniques to bring them to life depending on the channel. So I'm just going to talk through a few of them, and then I'm going to hand over to you. As we've done previously, there's another Padlet. And then, as we've discussed, everyone finds different things engaging. So I'm really interested to hear from you guys in terms of how you would make some of these things more engaging. So I'll just rattle through mine, and then I'll hand it over to you. So obviously, we talked about newsletters. There was 0% on our poll earlier. So how can we make them more? I'm going to take this away. How can we make them more exciting? So supporting visuals, use of subheadings and subheadings, also bullet points as well, making sure the large amounts of copies are broken up, and explain complex topics. That's what we've kind of talked about this whole morning. Training and workshops. So especially if it can be challenging around training and workshops, especially if the subject is not particularly exciting. So making sure you have a mixture of activities, group discussion, interactive presentation, which has visuals as well as copy. So mixing up your approaches, that's the best way to try and make sure that people feel engaged. You can also send out surveys to learners ahead of the training to make you understand the level of knowledge, any specific learner needs. That can be quite helpful in terms of approaching these trainings and these workshops. Working groups and sustainability champions, we'll talk a little bit more about them at the end of the session. Tell people how they can get involved, make sure that people know how to engage in being a working group or a sustainability champion. Set clear objectives, so make sure that they understand what's going to be wanted from them, what being part of a working group or a sustainability champion means, and outline the time involved that they'll need to give to it outside of their job role itself. Incentives, so make sure the incentives feel meaningful rather than tokenistic. Explain why the incentive exists, how it connects to the business's sustainability and goals. Where people understand the purpose, they're much more likely to engage. Highlight the benefit to the employees, so that seems obvious, but make sure that they understand what's in it for them, whether it's recognition, rewards, making their job easier, or contributing to something meaningful. And celebrate participation, so recognise effort and celebrate employee participation through shout-outs, photos, highlights, and meetings and stand-ups. So I don't know if anyone else agrees with this, but I immediately switch off if I don't know what the agenda or the objective of a meeting are. If I don't know why my time is taken up, I don't understand why I need to be in the meeting, and therefore I'm just completely disengaged by the time I've joined the meeting. So I think it's really important that people understand both the meeting agenda and the objective of the meeting. So that should be outlined ahead of the meeting so that everyone understands, and they have time to prep as well. Tell people what they need to bring to that meeting, and also think about, is that meeting needed in the first place? Do we actually need to have that meeting? Outline them objectives ahead of time. And any actions discussed during the meetings should be followed up with each individual responsible for the actions called out so that everyone can kind of follow what they need to do. Okay, so this is over to you again. This is a different Padlet link, so Nat's going to drop that in the chat or scan the QR code. So I've just listed another kind of 5 our ways to engage. Think about everything that we've kind of spoken about so far and suggest ways in which we can make them engage. And you don't have to, I'm conscious of time, so you don't have to work on all of them. If you want to just pick one and make a suggestion, that'd be really good. And when thinking about this, think about what type of message you would want to convey in this channel, and then think what you'd need to do to make that message engaging through the channel that you've chosen. So is it a channel where you want to share progress, updates? If so, how can you ensure that them updates are clear and key details are given to employees? So have a think about that as we go on the Padlet. So we've got webinars, volunteering, town halls, induction process, staff bulletin boards. So yeah, have a think about how you could make them more engaging. Yeah, really good for volunteering. Make sure that it aligns with your employees' interests. At Groundwork, we offer 2 volunteer days as part of our kind of annual leave, our annual time off, and we ask people to make sure that they are choosing their own volunteer opportunities and something that again aligns with their interests. So that's really good. Staff bulletin inviter, yeah, so something that invites people in that they want to engage with it. Webinars, participant engagement, polls, quizzes, yeah, breakout rooms, yeah, theme, spotlight, ask the director, Q&A, quiz, shout outs, yeah, really good for webinars. Town hall, small groups for engagement, short sessions, yeah, image heavy presentations, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anyone got anything for induction process? How can we make that a bit more engaging? Small amounts of info on a slide. If I can read the slides, I don't need the presentation. Yeah, absolutely, exactly. Yeah, you only need a minimal amount of things on the slide, and then you want the person speaking to be giving you the information as well. Staff bulletin board, yeah, photos of events, yeah, nice. Induction process, yeah, so where possible, be specific to their role, remit, try not to make it, yeah, catch-all, but that's really good actually. So how does it relate to their own role? How can you make sure that you're not giving them loads of information that isn't even relevant to them? That's a really good one, Charlotte. Assign buddy for a week, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, give them someone they might be working with on the day-to-day or someone else for the week to make it more of an engaging process. Staggered work, more questions, yeah, rather than just watching videos. So can it be a practical approach to the induction rather than just watching videos? Simple welcome pack, yeah, activities to help learn names and roles. Yeah, you could give them some activities to do. You give them like a quiz after they've read through the material to make it a bit more engaging. Really good. Diane, you've written, has sustainability stated in the company operational plan? Has sustainability in every job description? Everyone in the business to have it. Yeah, that's great. So like literally building it into business as usual. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to stop that there. Thank you so much for your input. That's really helpful. I'm just really conscious of time. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So yeah, you guys have kind of smashed it again in terms of the Padlet. So ways to engage in terms of webinars, you've answered it really well. Activities and discussion, and interactive presentation, so you're not just sat watching reams and reams of copy come up, and pull out that key information on the slide. That's really, really helpful. Volunteering, create opportunities, so allow employees dedicated volunteer days. That's what I was mentioning about Groundwork. Communicate the benefits that volunteering can have on both employee well-being and knowledge build into encouraging engagement. Provide recommendations and suggestions within communications for volunteer opportunities. Yeah, some people don't know where to start with volunteering. They're not sure where to look. So it's good to give them some opportunities and suggestions. Town halls, provide, it's what I was saying before about kind of going into a meeting without an agenda. Provide context for updates, celebrate successes, so celebrate sustainability initiatives within the business, use the town halls to communicate that, use visuals and case studies as well. Ways to engage on induction processes and documents. So yeah, explain the why, use simple language, outline expectations, but I really like the things that you've written on the Padlet board in terms of making them more interactive, making them more practical, maybe adding some challenges in there. Absolutely. And announcements, so staff bulletin boards. Yeah, use visuals, make sure they're enticing, Only post meaningful content. Don't post anything on there that doesn't kind of need to be there. And refresh it consistently so that people don't get bored of looking at the same thing. And remember, I think I mentioned this up front, but just choose the right channel for the different messages. So try and be consistent with to make sure that that channel that you're using is right for the message. So a town hall, for example, you're addressing the whole business. Make sure that all the content that is in there is so that all the employees need to hear. Try to be consistent with language across all communication channels. So yeah, use the same language, make sure it's approachable, think about that effective communication that we talked about earlier, and avoid sending via multiple channels when the content isn't relevant to everyone. So yeah, it's that overwhelm that people might feel in terms of too many messages coming from all different channels. Make sure that channel that you're using is right, and make sure that it's relevant to those people that you're sending it to. So yeah, we talked about how we can engage our employees through different channels, but we also need to think about how we can empower our employees and how that can boost engagement even further. So empowering employees to take an active role in sustainability is one of the most effective ways to build that long-lasting engagement. People feel trusted, valued, and able to influence change. So going back to what made you guys feel engaged at the beginning, right at the beginning of the webinar, a lot of that thing was around feeling valued, having been able to influence things. So people become more engaged, more motivated, more connected to the organisation's goals. And whether through sustainability champions or working groups, or simply just giving individuals the space to share ideas, empowerment turns passive awareness into meaningful action and helps create a culture where everyone feels they can make a difference. And sustainability champions, so as I mentioned, sustainability champions and working groups are a great way to engage employees across the business in sustainability initiatives. To recruit sustainability champions, use that effective communication that we talked about, so employees understand what it means to become a sustainability champion and what is expected of that. And do this by setting clear expectations, define what that champion role involves, approximate times, commitment, types of activities and responsibility, make sure it's relevant to their role. Clarity prevents overwhelm. Make it voluntary, so it's not mandatory. Champions should be enthusiastic about what they're doing. They shouldn't feel assigned as something that's bogging them down. Passion is the biggest driver of success. And finally, celebrate those wins. So momentum builds when champions can see that their small actions are creating meaningful results. And finally, just a note on working groups. So once all champions are on board, add them to a working group where they can meet other like-minded individuals who are all working towards a common goal. So working groups are a really great way to engage because they create a shared space for collaboration. They connect different departments as well. By connecting people from different departments, you unlock insights that wouldn't surface within isolated teams. They encourage diverse perspectives, so people from operations, HR, finance, they can see sustainability from all different angles, and this diversity leads to stronger, more practical initiatives. It helps to build momentum, so regular meetings, high energy being maintained, reinforces priorities, it ensures everyone is pulling in the same direction, and enables problem solving. So when key people come together again from different departments, decisions can be made faster and barriers identified earlier. Yeah, and they're really meaningful to a business because they help to turn strategy into action, help and translate big sustainability goals into small, achievable steps. They spot opportunities, so champions can identify local improvements from their actual department, so from energy waste to well-being, and that might be going unnoticed otherwise. And they drive cultural shifts as well. So when people see colleagues leading sustainability conversations, it normalises the behaviour. So Diane, that was kind of to your point on the Padlet. Normalising the behaviour, making it part of business as usual is really important in terms of engagement. Yeah, not everyone needs to be involved in a working group to become a sustainability champion. So no idea is a bad idea. So creating this culture of collaboration can engage all employees to get involved with sustainability initiatives. So yeah, just some ways to do that in terms of, so if you're not a sustainability champion, you can involve everyone across the board. You can have learning lunches. We do that at Groundwork. We have kind of regular learning lunches, such as Earth Day, and we kind of invite everyone in to talk about how we might reduce our emissions across the board. We're talking about how to reduce our commuting emissions and how we can support that as a business. So learning lunches can be a really nice way to get other people's insights who aren't necessarily sustainability champions. Staff surveys, I think I mentioned surveys before, but they can be really useful to gain insights again from people across the business. Suggestion boxes, make them anonymous so people aren't called out for any suggestions that might not be relevant, but yeah, suggestion boxes can be good. And even a dedicated Teams channel, you can have a sustainability Teams channel where everyone's invited. If they have any ideas, just drop them in the Teams channel and it can be kind of assessed by the sustainability champions across the business. Does anyone have any other things that they do currently within their business that they can share in the group to encourage individuals to get involved outside of the kind of ones that I've shared here? Just drop in the chat if so. No, that's fine. And that's all from me. Carbon literacy, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, training across the board. Carbon literacy is a really good one. There's ISEP as well. So yeah, additional training for all colleagues. Becoming a carbon literate organisation as well. That can be another one. So that is it from me. I'm conscious that we've gone over our time, but thank you for sticking with me. One last emoji to tell me how you feel after that. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to either drop them in the chat or just shout at me. That's absolutely fine as well. Oh, thanks, Andy. Good to see. Oh, amazing. Have we blown them cobwebs away from anyone who was feeling a bit snowed under earlier? I hope so. Oh, lovely. Thanks, everyone. That's great. Does anyone have any questions at all? I'll check the chat. No, you're all very welcome. Sorry that I went over a little bit on time, but I really appreciate you all sticking with it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
Thanks.